Welcome to Deep Thought, the real purpose of college. You know what? College, yeah, people, to get those degrees, and they talk about, if you go to this college, you can get this job and everything, and you can see it as a place of job training. But I'm going to tell you what the real purpose of college is. And actually, I learned this from my high school biology teacher back in high school, because he said it's just not so much about what you learn, but it's the discipline. It's the discipline. Because if you really, anybody who's been to college or graduate school, got advanced degrees, just going through it, you become disciplined. You become disciplined. Yeah, regardless of what you learn, because let's be real, most people, they end up doing things for a living that had nothing to do with what they actually did in school, in college in particular. Graduate school is a little bit different, because usually if someone goes to a professional school, most of the time they're going to practice that. But then, you get some people who get a medical degree or something, they might practice for a long time, then get into something else. Or especially people who might get a law degree. There's a whole lot of lawyers who practice, or people who graduated law school who practice non-traditional, what they call non-traditional careers and stuff. They don't bother taking a bar or anything. A lot of them will get into law enforcement, reporting. There are several jobs. But what is it that they learned in law school? Discipline. Discipline. At the college level, you're learning discipline. Because that's really the biggest difference. If you look at a lot of students, they just going along partying and everything, but they still have to have that term paper. They still have to, pass those. They still have to study for those exams. That's something that translates into the real world. And I mean, they unfortunately had that student debt and everything, but it translates into having discipline. Now, of course, people who might not have the ability to go to college or get the higher education can, they can have that discipline as well, but it's a different mindset. You actually have a different mindset. You're in a position where you have to actually, do things at a certain time. You actually have to study. You actually have to present your stuff. And it means, okay, you have to answer to someone. Now, of course, I preach sovereignty and everything, but the thing I remember about school personally is the discipline, just to be there, just to get through it. And it translates to other things in life. That's the thing. That's the training. It's the discipline. It translates to other things in life. Like taking different things. Like in college, I was a history major, but it was a liberal arts school. And one of the main things I learned was just doing research. And then being exposed to different subjects because of the liberal arts nature of the school. No matter what your major is, you had to take other things. So it was like, okay, you become disciplined at looking at other things and being able to pass those classes, but it was a matter of discipline, a matter of opening your mind and disciplining yourself. Like for everything I do now, like I said, I was a history major, so learned a lot of research, but also had taken sociology classes. So it was like, oh, okay. That's where I first learned about qualitative research. Religious classes, psychology, philosophy. And you become well-rounded, but disciplined in your learning, in like finding out information and moving towards the world, because then, you had to still carry yourself a certain way and, interact with people. But the thing is still the discipline. Because a lot of people, the reason they're not in school or they flunk out or something, yeah, you could say maybe they couldn't afford it, but they weren't disciplined in their studies. You know, they weren't disciplined to take care of something. Because just like you could work on that school project, you can work on a business project. And the key thing is they could be on two different things, but then you had the discipline to keep going. Or if you entrepreneurial, had the discipline to keep going. Or if it's the liberal arts part, now I know all schools aren't liberal arts, but you had the discipline to really look at something that you probably didn't have interest in. But you were able to learn it. You were able to learn it. You was like, okay, you know what? I gotta be disciplined to find out about something. And that helps you in life because, like I said, if you look at a lot of people who graduate college, a lot of them don't do what they went to college for. You know, I was a history major in school. I could have went to graduate level, you know, got a PhD or something, but the thing that taught me was the discipline in really researching something, like looking at something, okay, what's the history behind this? And looking into it deeper. In fact, I learned qualitative research while doing it because I was taking a particular seminar. I was taking a seminar and I had to interview someone. I was actually given an assignment to interview my grandparents. So there was some elders. So I was taught like, okay, how to interview, having the discipline to interview. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's something to think about. Like, and that's education, period. It trains you on so many levels. And really even self-education. Like if you say, okay, you can't afford to go to college, there's no shame in that. And, you know, in this day and age, you don't really need to, but it's about the discipline. Now, I ain't saying go out and try to go, but maybe on like doing your own research, just being disciplined and finding out things. Discipline and learning knowledge. But it's about the discipline. And then if you, depending on where you went to school, you become disciplined in dealing and learning like different subjects, different paths. That's why I said, you know, and anybody, you know, you can do some research into this. Many people, they'll go to college for one thing, but they'll transfer the skills that they develop, their discipline, being able to study, being able to stick with something to other things. I want y'all to think about that. Now I know it's like, what they got to do with deep thought, Rom? Everything, because you're still thinking. You are still thinking, all right? So that's all I have for right now. And you know, on deep thought, I mean, I ain't saying go out and run and try to go take classes or anything. Well, hold up. I was about to stop it, but you know, sometimes it's not a bad thing. I've known several people who they would just take random classes. They would audit or something like that, or continuing education. Indeed, many rich people, they'll take a seminar. They will spend a lot of money on seminar and continuing education because it keeps their knowledge up, but it keeps them disciplined. All right. So that's all I have for today. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.